All right, David, you can start the sewer commission, the public side of the meeting.
Okay, meeting call to order. Today is Tuesday, August 18th. It is now 5:47 PM. Town council meeting via Zoom.
Roll call, Council President Goslin.
Here.
Council Vice President D'Amico.
Here.
Councilman Messier.
Here.
Councilman Licciardi, we count him as being on the other meeting.
He is here and he's having audio problems. He will be in executive session.
Okay. Councilwoman Williamson.
Here.
Participating communities, Town of Coventry, Town of Situate, City of Cranston, City of Warwick, Town of West Greenwich. We have a quorum on record.
We just need somebody to move us into executive session. Yes,
I'll move into executive session under section 42-46-4 and 42-46-5, subsection A1 of Rhode Island General Laws. The Sewer Commission will convene into the executive session, closed meeting to discuss all individuals who have been notified in writing. Do I need the next three sections?
Yes, the three people.
Yes.
Okay. 1, compensation pay for Bernard Bishop, former Chief Operating Officer of the West Warwick Treatment Plant. Discussion topic. 2, salary increase for current Assistant Superintendent Michael Bedard due to acquiring the DEM required grade 4 special license needed for his position. 3, question regarding job scope, time and half pay and compensation time accrual for West Warwick Treatment Plant electrician, instrumentation specialist Vincent Russo.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll see you in the other meeting.
Okay, just
Okay.
text me.
I'll
Okay.
text
Joe,
you, Jim.
Joe, do we log out and log back in?
Yep, so everybody is going to leave this meeting, and then you'll log into the other Zoom meeting for the executive session.
Okay.
Wait,
For those who have the invite for that one.
Joe,
All right,
do
thanks.
I log out and then come back later or just stay here?
You can just stay there, Mary Ann, just leave your computer on and you can come back to it and
I'll just mute and go about my night.
yeah, just mute, go about your evening, and when we get back to everything else, you'll be able to see it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
you kidding? What? What the frick did they do? This is bullshit.
Can anybody hear me?
Hello, who's this? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who's this?
This is Don Willett.
Hey, Don. The sewer commission meeting is in executive session right now. And
Okay.
then they still have the remainder of the sewer commission meeting to do. We have no idea exactly what time the town council meeting is going to start.
Okay.
I know you're on the phone. On the video side of it, we've got a message up, just posted that they're doing their executive session. So to stand by for the regular meeting.
All right. Sounds good. I'll just hang tight then. Thank you.
So I'm not exactly sure how long their executive session is going to take.
No problem.
And
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how this mute works, whether I'm on or not.
I can mute you so that you're off, and it's either *6 or *9 to unmute yourself, Don.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. I'll just wait until you guys start talking. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, bye now.
Bye.
but the other
just gotta take a 1-minute recess. Before we
Sounds
get
like a good idea.
All right.
Joe? Joe?
Yeah, I'm here, Jay.
All
You're
right,
in.
making sure you can hear me.
We can hear you.
You ready for a marathon?
We're working our way through it. Dave, just to remind you, this is still a live broadcast from when we had gone into executive session, so you can resume as soon as you're ready. Everything's all set to go.
Just let me know when the council's back.
I just moved Jason Messier in and everybody should be here. Let's see, John is here. Jason Messier is here. Yeah, we're good, Dave.
Waiting for Mary Beth to be back.
And Mary Beth. Yeah,
Mary
she's
Beth's
in.
here. Yep.
All right, meeting called back to order. It is now 8:03 p.m. I don't think you have to take roll call again because we've already had roll call. I apologize. We were in executive session a very long time. It is 8:03. So if you want to start with the agenda, Christine?
Okay, excuse me. Next, we have the minutes of the previous meeting.
Do we need to close that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Resolved that the minutes of the June 16th, 2020 Town Council meeting act as sewer commission is hereby accepted.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Councilman Licciardi?
Yes.
Councilman Messier?
Yes.
Councilwoman Williamson?
Yes.
Councilman D'Amico?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Reports, plant managers report.
Good evening. I am going to start by presenting the June report since our last meeting was canceled. Operations with the influent to the facility, we had a daily average of 4.4 million gallons per day and a minimum of 3.2. CDOB, the requirement by DEM is 85%. We achieved 99%. And the total suspended solids, the requirement is 85%, and we achieved a removal rate of 98%. As regards to total nitrogen, The requirement is at 7.6. The facility achieved 5.4 milligrams per liter. Total phosphorus, the facility again achieved 0.1. As in regards to total sludge hold from the facility, we had 514 wet tons and 128 tons of the dry sludge, which is roughly an average of about 6 tons a day. In regards to the collection system, we had 4 blockups in the private lines found on Prospect Hill, Main Street, Alexander Drive, and Aden Drive. There was none in the public lines. The staff got tailgate training on heat stress. In regards to order complaints, the facility received 2 phone calls. One was about an order coming from the facility, and the other one coming from Duke Street, where our Maisie Queen Pump Station is located. The facility had 0 violations for the month of June. I will move on to July. The influent flow was at 3.8 mgd, maxing out at 7.3. The CBOD, with a requirement of 85%, the facility achieved 98%. The total suspended solids, the facility achieved 99%. Total nitrogen, the DEM requirement again is 7.6. The facility achieved 7.0. Total phosphorus removal, again, the facility had 0.1 million gallons per liter. Sludge removal, the facility removed 514 tons of sludge. Again, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry, I got the papers mixed up. I'm gonna go back to total phosphorus removal. My apologies. The total phosphorus removal was at 0.06 milligrams per liter. The sludge removal, we had 546 tons removed from the facility, which is in wet tons, roughly 128 dry tons. Again, another 5.8 tons per day. In the collection system, we had 2 blockups in the private lines. This happened on July 7th on Revere and July 26th on Gulf Ave. We had 2 blockups in the public lines, July 1st on Richard Street. We found there was some rags in the sewer line. This is what caused the blockage. The staff managed to run the Vector truck and they unblocked the line. The second blockup was on July 23rd on Nottingham Drive. In this case, we found a lot of grease in the sewer lines. The staff received training in personal protective equipment, which is ideal most of the times in this time of the year because of equipment that they have to use for landscaping and other tasks. Order complaints, we've received 5 order complaints. This was because an output control board failed in our scrubber and it needed to be replaced. Unfortunately, it's one that took a few days to get to us. It needed to be programmed and then installed. Once that was done, the problem was rectified. We had 1 facility violation, and this was in a maximum daily with the total suspended, I'm sorry, the CBOD. This was caused by us dewatering one of the final tanks for a yearly cleaning and servicing. Now, because this was done, sometimes solids tend to carry over, which caused a violation. The number required by DEM is 15 milligrams per liter. The facility had 18.5 milligrams per liter. Items of interest. River Farms Pump Station did not have any means of bypassing that facility, just in case there was a problem at the facility. So staff, we installed a bypass system. In this case, if ever there's a problem, we'll be able to bypass the facility without causing any problems of overflows or even orders. Another thing that one of our mechanics did was we had a problem with the conveyor belt that carries the sludge. It broke, and instead of ordering the part, we were able to manufacture it from in-house. This is ideal. We're able to save some money in the process, and we do have a part that we appreciate the fact that somebody's there that can actually manufacture some parts in-house. That's all I had for today.
Any questions for Harrison? Thank you, Harrison.
Actually, the only question I had, I'm sorry, how many times did sludge have to be brought to the, wasn't be able to be processed? Did it have to, we'd have to pay for the tonnage to go to the resource recovery?
Well, actually, the sludge that we take to the resource recovery or to Senegro is processed. What happens is we get solids, which is sludge, and then we remove water from that to make it lighter and take it out either for incineration or for land application at the landfill. So in this case, this month we had 545, well, let me put it this, 128 tons of dry sludge.
And how much went to the landfill? Because we pay more when it goes to the landfill, is that correct?
That's correct. Since Senegal is back online this time, we only took less than 40 tons of wet sludge to the landfill, basically 2 truckloads.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have industrial pretreatment program report. Is Jim back? I've texted him, but I don't know if he's back. I texted him a couple of times.
We could skip his report.
He what?
We could skip his report tonight.
Want to skip his report? Well, you guys do have it.
Yeah, we have a copy of it, but
Okay, I'll move on. Okay, next is the financial update. Year-to-date and operating debt expenses for fiscal year 20 as of July 31st totaled $604,128, which is 6% of the annual budget. Fiscal year 20 sewer usage collections through July 31st totaled $2,111,091, which is 31% of the total billed. Of the total collected, 12,807 represents interest. Fiscal year 20 sewer assessment collections through July 31st totaled 168,310, which is 60% of the total billed. Of the total collected, $216 represents interest. Cash and investments through July 31st totaled $3,230,618. And that's all I have.
any questions for Christine?
Christine, can I ask, so is that really fiscal year 2020 or is it 2021? Okay, just, yes,
2021.
okay, thank
I-
you.
Thank you. I apologize. At least I got July.
That's okay, yes.
A long night. Okay, old business. We have the DEM consent agreement that Jim was going to talk about, which I don't know where he is. Do you want to go over that or skip it?
I would suggest tabling it if Jim Jeremy is not available, because he's going to be the one who can
He
answer
has
the
to
specific
discuss it.
questions.
Yes.
Right.
I'd make a
Okay.
motion to table that item.
I'll second.
Motion to table, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0.
The next we have new business, which is the Kent County water fee reduction for records. I just wanted to let the council know that I'd spoken to the finance director at Kent County Water, and I submitted a letter to him as well as the board, and they had a meeting to reduce our fees. So we went from $1 a record to 50 cents. It was granted to us, which is a little over $4,000 savings. So I thought that was pretty good. Just wanted to let you know.
It should be noted that
Nice
we
job.
asked Christine to put that on the agenda. She didn't put it on herself. She told us about that in the sewer subcommittee, and anything to save money.
Thank you.
Every little bit
We-
helps,
we
right?
felt it is. We felt it was a significant savings, and the rest of the commission should know about it.
Okay. Next, we have 103 Providence Street.
Yes,
Well-
I asked for this to be put on the agenda for my own sake and for the resident at 103 Providence Street's sake. I know she's been working with the town for over almost, I think, close to 2 years, if not a little longer on this. And I got to watch the last meeting actually in her living room, and we sat down together, and she expressed her frustrations. Some of the comments that were made at that meeting, and rightfully so. She has the right to be upset. I don't think she's harassing the town. I think she's looking for answers. With that being said, I'm being told that there's a line behind Providence Street from basically, I want to say from the church at the corner of Providence Street where the fork is across the street from Prater Funeral Home. That's the first house, I think, that's on that line. All the way down to 107, 109 Providence Street. And there's a few manholes in between there. The manholes actually say Brayton Foundry on them. So, and it says I guess there was a Brayton Foundry in that area that did these manhole covers back in the day, because it actually says the location right here in West Warwick. And I'm being told it's a private line. Now, ILDA has received some documentation from the town, from the sewer department, and I'm not sure where she retained it, but also she retained it from the town and from a local surveyor's office. And both those documents say her sewer line comes out the front of her house into Providence Street. That's almost impossible because it's a 4-family house, and she's towards the end of the line. Now, what I want to know, and I understand the homeowner is responsible for the lateral from the basement to the main. Now, is that homeowner also responsible for that private line? Because there is, I think I counted, if every unit is a 4-unit, because every house on that street is built almost the same on that side of Providence Street. So they range from 2 to 4 families. And we counted, and I personally walked that street that day and counted 30 to 36 units of people tied into that specific sewer line. And I don't expect 103, 105, 109 to be responsible for that main line, because who knows what 99, 101, and all them are sending down that line. So can somebody explain that line to me?
Well, I believe Jim would have been in a better position to explain the line because he knows some history to it. Lack of having seen any documentation or anything like that, most of us were made to believe that that's a private line because it was from the foundry, and also at the same time, I was told, again, lack of documentation, I was told that every resident in that area was asked to connect onto Providence Street. And looking at what we've done with the camera, we've found that most of the residents are connected onto Providence Street, but 103, unfortunately, is not connected, but there is a lateral that laser, which is capped, so this is where the complication comes in, because we are told that's a private line. Those residents there were asked to connect in the front because nobody was servicing that line because it didn't belong to the town.
How deep is the Providence Street line?
How deep? I'm not so sure. I'll have to look at the DVD again. You know,
Jim Jeremy
I
is
would
on
say
on the phone now.
yeah, I think Jim would be in a better position to answer that.
The, on Providence Street, I want to say it's about 10 feet plus deep in Providence Street. The problem is that the property in question tails off to the back side. So in order to get, you can't get from the front to the back without a pump or an ejector on that line.
So can we confirm who is truly on that line? Which resident?
I think they have in the past, but we can certainly do that by getting permission to put dye into each of the properties along the back side and to determine if they're coming out from the front or the rear of the property. We know that there's several on there. This woman happens to be the last one. I don't recall, Harrison, how many were you aware of when they TV'd it the last time, how many people were there?
Well, the records I have, almost everybody else on Providence Street is connected to the front from running the camera. Unfortunately, the property in question is the only one that isn't.
Okay.
Can we confirm that?
Yes, we can. I do have DVDs to show that.
Now, I know the homeowner also stopped us from cleaning the line because she had concerns of the vibration, being a clay pipe, that she was afraid that it was be broken. So that's one of the reasons why she asked to stop cleaning. And I just want to make that clear because that wasn't stated at that meeting. It just said that she asked to stop doing it, but there was no reason why she stopped doing it. How, if any, can that person get off that old line and tie into Providence Street? As it says on the plans that she has, that it's tied into Providence Street.
And just like Jim said, you need to connect an E1 pump that would pump uphill. You know, since she's at the lowest point of the area, she wouldn't be able to connect a lateral that will feed by gravity. It has to be pumped up.
So Harrison, I see next door, there's another house with a manhole in there, and that's where her sewer lines come from. It ties in from the back of her house to that main. And then it goes downhill to the next manhole cover. Where does that manhole cover go? Where does that manhole go?
Well, her sewer line doesn't tie in the manhole. It ties in.
No,
in
I know where it
between.
ties in.
Right,
I'm saying
right.
it, but eventually that stuff flows into that manhole.
Right. But just to go back before I answer that, just to go back to the problem at hand here. The real problem is that her lateral has roots in it, and we were able at one time to help her out by running a snake in there, cutting the roots coming out. If roots were fixed in that lateral, she wouldn't be having this problem as it is, But back to your question, her line runs behind the house and ties into a manhole that is right in between 105 and 107.
Where does it go from there?
And then from there, it goes into our line, into the main town line.
So my question is, from the town line on Providence Street, why couldn't she, and I don't even know if this is her option, but why couldn't she come through her backyard with new piping? And if there's a main on there again, I don't know who's on this. If she is the only one on this entire main, then we should abandon.
Waiting to have supper because I have to do the tomatoes tonight.
Somebody's got to do tomatoes tonight. The question I have is, if there's nobody else on that main, how can we abandon that main and get this resident tied in? Obviously, you can tie it in if there's a manhole and that manhole is going out to Providence Street.
Correct. We've issued special permission in the past for residents to tie in into the manhole. That would be her best option, to run line from the back of the house and go to the manhole closest to the main street.
But again, if she does that, does she affect anybody else uphill?
No, but then whatever situation is, she will need to install a backflow preventer as well. You know, the other problem we have here, that line is missing a backflow preventer. So whenever there was any problems, it would end up in our house.
So also in that meeting, I think Jim brought up that, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, there was some sort of insurance claim. Was that through the trust?
Yes, it was.
So my question is, if the town is not responsible, as everybody keeps saying, why would the trust pay for anything?
The problem in the past, the trust has paid for backups into the sewer, from the sewer into private basements. Why they paid for it, I can't tell you. I wasn't part of that whole deal. But in general, when they normally have a sewer backup, if nobody contested the issue that it's a private line, they would have paid the claim, but under the condition that no further claims will be paid unless a backflow preventer is installed. Once a backflow preventer is installed and a claim occurs, then they will compensate.
Harrison, can you get a copy of that claim from the trust?
I do have a copy already. I did send out to everybody in the committee. But here's what happened in this situation. Our staff went down there while cleaning the lines. In the process, they blew back into her house.
Okay.
And that's why we felt obliged to put in an insurance claim for her. We are the ones that actually put in the insurance claim, and then the insurance claim came down, assessed the damage, and they paid off $20,000 to have the basement repaired. You know, and then after that, I did write her a letter informing her that this was the one and only time that an insurance claim was going to be put in, and that she needed to install a backflow preventer, because if there's a backflow preventer, it's going to stop any sewage or water that is being used in the line from going into her house. But no action has been taken to that point so far.
And I think Ilda's on tonight, and I want to give her the opportunity to speak. And I mean, if she wants to, Ilda, if you do, just raise your hand. But I just want to find a solution for this resident for 103. And my question is, like I said, I want to know who's on that line. How can we abandon that line, get everybody off of it? Because if that does clog, I mean, from what I'm being told, the property next door is tied into that line. I'm not sure. I don't have all the maps. But again, the map that I've received showed her shooting right out the side of her driveway, right into Providence Street. And obviously, it doesn't seem like that's how it goes since you cameraed it. You know, we got to come up with some sort of solution, because I mean, she has a unit that's totally torn apart. Yes, whatever the insurance company paid, but that has not been fixed, because if it happens again, or whatever happens again, she's had an open unit now for however long that's been. And Harrison, can you tell me how long that's been since?
Since 2016.
I mean, so that's another question. I mean, and I know you go above and beyond that you can for residents when you can, and I appreciate that, and I think the whole council appreciates that. But this is really, I hate to say it, a crappy situation for the individual. And Ilda is here, and I'm going to allow her to talk. Does anybody have any other questions for Harrison on this matter? And I know the sewer commission's been a little more privy to this information than I have. And I know you guys met a lot on this over the past few years. I just, and again, I think the homeowner needs to do some upgrades themselves also, but I want to know what the town's responsibility is going to be here.
Well, just so you know, again, the ordinance, and Tim can speak to this, but the ordinance requires that the homeowner is responsible from the house to the main in the middle of the road. So that's where the responsibility for the homeowner is. I just want to put that out there, not that I'm making any, I just want you to understand that, that's all.
No, Jim, and I understand that, and I said that at the very beginning. I understand the homeowner's responsible from the home to the lateral, which is to the main. And I said that from the beginning. The question I have, and I still had, was, and Harrison says he, is the main in those backyards? And he says that he's been told it's a private line. Told by who? How have we confirmed that's a private line? There's got to be easements in everybody. There's got to be an easement in everybody's deed if there's a sewer line coming through everybody's property, if I am correct. I mean, I know if I run a sewer line through somebody else's property, I have to get that deeded in an easement. So
I don't know if you're going to find an easement. I think when this was brought about earlier, and the problem is that these were all mill houses and they were all one unit. So we can do some research, find out if there is an easement and if it is a town sewer. But by all claims of it, in the past, the way the mill houses have been, those have all been private. And I'll venture to say in the early days, that went right to the river. That's why it was in the backyards of the property. When the sewer improvement projects began, they put the mains out in the road. There are no sewers that run, there's no purpose for that sewer, for the town to install a sewer running cross country. But that being said, I don't know, David, I've not looked at easements, if there are any easements, recorded easements for her property or any other property along that back road. Have you done that, Harrison, at all?
I've looked. I haven't seen any documentation on that. It's all been hearsay.
Hilda?
Can I speak? Can I say something?
Yes, Hilda, go ahead.
Yes, there is an easement. Right next door, there is an easement. There is an easement on this property. And right next door, Pamela Padula is also using this line. The rest of the people also express themselves as using the line. And they are all paying. So this is not new. It's all on paper. You can find it out.
So Harrison, we've got some homework to do here as far as, I want to see if there's easements. If it's truly a private line, then that's something that needs to be worked out. I know on Hilda's mortgage paperwork, when they did the closing, there was a stipulation in that closing, which that would be put on the closing company and whoever did the work there, saying that the sewer line was up to date and up to code. And the documentation she has from that is that it's shot right out to the front of the road, and then she was told, and I don't expect an average everyday homeowner who's buying a house to understand if their sewer line is up to code. So, I mean, she's going to probably have some responsibility towards whoever was responsible for the mortgage insurance or whatever on that home. And solicitor, correct me if I'm wrong, when you do a closing, there's usually a title insurance and all that good stuff on there.
Usually, but sometimes errors and mistakes are made. That's why they have the omissions policy, but usually that stuff's going to be in there.
Okay. So Harrison, if you can get me the information on the line itself, and who's tied into that line, how many units?
Yep.
I know, like, for instance, her address is 103 and 105, but there's 4 units there. So, so we just want to make sure we check with the tax assessor on how many units are at each house and, see how many people are tied in truly. And I mean, it's a little rough when we're putting a main on somebody. Like I said, I fully agree if the laterals need to be changed and a backflow needs to be installed, I think that's the homeowner's responsibility. But if there's a main problem, I mean, I just have an issue with that. I know, Ilda, you still have your hand up. Do you still want to have something to say, or?
No, actually, I didn't remove my hand, but I can say that there are many houses attached to that property and they are capped. And as far as I know, Harrison is wrong. There are people, there are properties attached to the private, you call it private sewer.
All right, we're gonna do our homework on that. I just wanted to get some information on that, Ilda. And again, thank you for having me at your house last Sunday.
Well, thank
some
you.
days ago. And
Thank you for coming and listening to me finally. Thank you.
but again, I want to get answers for her and once and for all, and what the final solution is, and
Okay.
you know, and work together. That's
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilda. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right.
That's it for that. Nobody has anything else on that? We're good? We're good?
Good.
Yeah, okay. Next is resolution. It's a proposal for the West Warwick Regional Treatment Plant to enter into an agreement with CWL O&M Solutions LLC.
I'll move the resolution.
Resolved per recommendation of the Sewer Subcommittee Chair, Councilman Jason Licciardi, that the Town Council President be authorized to approve the proposal from O&M Solutions LLC. Services are to provide a follow-up review of a report presented to the Sewer Commission on April 24th, 2018, regarding an organizational review and business practice evaluation at the West Warwick Sewer Treatment Plant. Services will begin in the fall of 2020 for a fee of $135 per hour, not to exceed 100 hours. The scope of the review would contain, but is not limited to, staff utilization, inventory management, data collection, etc. Funding will be allocated from the study cost account.
I'll move the resolution.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moving second, and I'll take any comment. I'll take a roll call vote. Councilman Licciardi? I muted him. Hold on. Jay, you gotta unmute yourself.
Next, we have the consent agenda.
Hold on, I didn't take a vote. Councilman
Oh,
Licciardi?
I'm sorry. I thought you did. I'm sorry.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I'm voting yes.
Councilman Messier?
Yes.
Councilwoman Williamson?
Yes.
Councilman D'Amico?
Yes.
Okay, next, consent agenda. Resolved that the consent agenda having been posted, all matters having been referred to proper departments and being disposed of or awaiting recommendations, the same is hereby approved.
Move the consent agenda.
Second, sorry.
Moved and seconded. Any comment? Councilman Licciardi?
Yes.
Councilman Messier?
Yes.
Councilwoman Williamson?
Yes.
Councilman D'Amico?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
That's it.
I want to go back to pre-treatment. I'm sorry, I didn't get a text, so.
I text you.
We
I
tabled.
didn't get one. I still haven't gotten it, but that's okay.
Tim, we'll save it for next time. It's getting late.
Okay, I just want, could I just talk about the permit for Tim's, that was
Is that an
on the.
agreement?
That was already tabled.
Oh, it was, I'm sorry, okay. You're muted, Tim.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can, yes.
All right, just call me tomorrow. We can straighten out what we need to straighten out, and then you can present to the council at the next meeting.
Okay,
Thank
fine.
you.
Are we going to do Jim's report or are we gonna? Can we go back to Jim's report or no?
you have a lot on there?
No, that'll take a minute.
All right, Jim, go ahead.
Okay, just make it worth my while waiting. What I'm going to be reporting is the pretreatment report for June and July. And basically, the significant industrial users have all submitted their self-monitoring report, and all are in compliance with the exception of Rhodes Technology. Rhodes Technology exceeded its limit for acetone. And so we issued them a notice of violation for that and asked them to retest during the month of July. As of yet, we haven't seen the results. As you may recall, in my previous reports, Rhodes Technology has bought a pretreatment system for acetone removal. However, it's coming from Canada, and the startup of that facility can't be done at this time. With regards to the private wastewater treatment facilities, we did the cleaning at the Cohasset Corners and found everything to be in compliance. There was one area where roots had started to intrude the line, and that was cleaned, and the system is back operational. Property manager for Wesserman line provided information on the O&M manual. However, that did not meet the program requirements, and we're issuing a report on that. With regards to Bald Hill Realty, they have completed the as-built and the O&M manual has been approved. East Greenwich Square is working with the owners of the 1149 restaurant, which is in bankruptcy, in order to ensure that that line is cleaned in accordance with the agreement with the town. Marketplace Center cleaned its private line, and all the systems were found to be in a reasonable condition. Starbucks resolved its issue with construction. National Amusement submitted the O&M manual and showcased private system for the private system. The O&M manual was approved by the program. With regards to the food cleaning, food services, Miss Cranston's Grill and Pizza Hut were inspected over the past 2 months. Miss Cranston did not have any records of grease trap cleaning, so a notice of violation was issued. We also inspected all of the restaurants at the Cohasset Corner. All were found to be in compliance, with the exception of Moe's Southwest Grill, which did not have any records for permit for cleaning, nor was their permit updated. And so a notice of violation was issued. With regards to plan review, the AI out of Center of New England submitted plans. The plans were approved. T-Bone's Grill in Coventry also submitted plans, and their plans were approved. And finally, 272 Cohasset Avenue, which includes the auto parts and the dollar store, did submit plans, and they have the plans were reviewed. And finally, Med Recycling, which is at 1600 Division Street, did provide additional information on their pre-treatment application. However, they refused to complete the additional information required into the plan. So a letter was issued requesting additional information from them. That's all I have.
Any questions for Jim? Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
We're at public comment now.
Any public comment on the sewer? If you do, please raise your hand. I'll give it 10 seconds. I'm hearing crickets and a dog, so I'm just going to say nobody has any public comment on the sewer. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
No,
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Wait. Don't we have to close the executive session?
You can close it at the council meeting if you'd like. Either way. Councilman
Okay.
Shoddy, do you want to close those minutes?
Yeah, let's
I
close
guess
the council meeting.
We can do it at the council meeting if you like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need to report out anything?
far as, no, we were going to put it on the September 1st agenda. Anything that we had in executive session, we'll vote on public session on September 1st.
I'm gonna put a resolution together and
Okay.
I'll let you review it.
Any other comment? All in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, stay on here and we'll start the.
All right, everybody stays right here. I'm just gonna change one thing.